Oh, all right. Here we are, Seattle Sports Weekly. I'm Oz Peter Mara, your host, and have a lot to talk about. And it always is right around this time of the year. We love it. It's sports. Sports is abound. March Madness continues, but it was here the last weekend. Got a chance to attend the games, and on the second part of the show, second 30 minutes, second half. Got a pretty cool interview I'm going to play from Penny Hardaway, coach of Memphis, who lost. They did 78-70 to number 12 Colorado State. It was an upset because actually Memphis was number 5, but kind of here. I think it's fun to take you back there. Mariners obviously opening. They opened the baseball season on Thursday, this Thursday. So we'll talk about them as well. So this is where we tease the second half hour because, because the first half hour, we're going to talk soccer and glad to have Peter Hattrick back again as to kind of why the Sounders can't score, but I'll go into that lead in just a moment. But yeah, just intro here, just a lot going on. Love it. As I said, baseball. Mariners on Thursday will be there, and Mariners actually tomorrow. It's a timing thing. They practice over. There's a free, media practice in T-Mobile Park. Go down there and hear from, the coach, general manager. Well, general manager, but it's always weird because they call him the manager in baseball. He's not the general manager because that's Jared Deporto. But we'll hear from the coach there, and he'll tell us all the good things the coaches say. And Dan Wilson will have positive things, and why wouldn't he, right? All coaches are supposed to do that. Spring, it's eternal, right? Hope's eternal, whatnot, what have you. So that's tomorrow. And as I said, we'll hear from the Sounders later this week. You won't get to hear that, but we always kind of look back in terms of what's going on. And I'm a little ill prepared, but maybe next week or the week after, take a deep dive into what's going on with the U.S. men's national team, soccer team, that is. And do you panic or not? But the one where questions are asked for me is the Sounders have scored 7 goals in 5 MLS games. Now, 5 of those 7 goals came in one game, which is a 5-2 victory over LAFC. And then the injuries occurred. So when it comes to goals, and there they are, they're 12th right now. It's early, but the injuries, and again, I'll go with the 7 in 5 goals, 7 goals in 5 games, and 5 of the 7 came in LAFC. So who better to ask about the state of the Sounders goal scoring than the legend Peter Hattrick?
Well, we got to do something to score goals. I don't know. After looking so sharp and playing so quickly and so decisively against LA, they've kind of gone back to slowing it down and keeping the ball and going sideways and backwards. I think some of that's the injuries, and some of that's maybe a little lack of confidence when things aren't going well.
Of course, you would hit it right on the nail because that's exactly what Brian Smetzer said. We'll hear from Smetzer a little bit, and we'll break down some film. And that's exactly what he said. I have that clip, and he said, we need some courageousness, some courage, and that's built from confidence. Take us into how do you get that confidence, Peter? I mean, right, you get confidence by scoring goals, but if you're not scoring goals, how do you get that confidence?
Yeah, some of it's just you got to reach down in yourself and say I'm willing to take chances. I think sometimes people think it's unselfish when you're passing the ball around, but sometimes it's not willing to take on the responsibility of making a play and taking a chance. And, the best players are willing to take chances. The best players give the ball away when they're near the goal because they're trying something that's going to create something. It's easy to pass the ball sideways and backwards. But part of that is you have to look back on what you've done all your life and have faith in that you're still good enough to make those plays.
Okay, let's see. Let's start with all of our what we have here. So let me go to we got so many of these. I'm gonna start with let's go with Brian on the post game interview. And this is what he said when I had asked him the question after the game. Up from the 18 yards in how do you fix that and get multiple runners? Because it seemed like once in a while you'd have a player in there, but there wasn't a secondary player running off.
We couldn't even get the ball from a prime assist zone, the areas that we try and get to. We couldn't even manufacture those starting points for our attack. So yes, it's numbers in the box. It's also making sure we get the balls into the right spot so the attacking movements can be good. Georgie gets stuck because Georgie's being found out now in the league. Every time he gets the ball, there's 3 guys on him. And so then he draws those 3 guys, he drops the ball back to Alex or Christian or someone, the ball's got to be swung in. But to your point, who's inside the box if we're crossing balls from, top of the box, and, we got to make sure we fine tune those things. But then again, it's just a little bit more of that, life or death. It's life or death in the penalty box. I mean, we have to get in there. It's a non-negotiable. If we see Georgie or if we see Paul going, I need 3 guys in the box.
It's all right. I'm going to go back to Peter there just in terms of take us to the primary assist zone to start with, and then what is he talking about there for our audience?
Well, he's generally talking about Georgie getting the ball out wide and them getting help over to him. So the numbers are no longer right for him to take people on every time. So it should be pretty obvious to people, and by people I mean other players, when he turns to play the ball back, that's a time that you got to get going. Because as the ball comes back, whoever's behind him, and he's talking about Christian or Alex or whoever's in that crossing position, they should be looking to whip that ball in first time. But it's as if everyone's waiting until they get the ball instead of saying, I'm going to run on faith that he's going to play it and make those runs. And if it doesn't come, then you got to reroute and make another run. But everyone's kind of waiting. It looks to me for a sure thing. Like, I don't want to run if they're not going to cross it. Well, you have to assume they're going to cross it, and you got to run. If we only ran when we're sure we were going to get the ball played to us, that would look like my over 50 games.
All right. Well, let's continue. Let's go into let's go to some highlights then. Maybe we can break that down in terms of we do have some stuff popped up here. All right, let's see if we've got here we go. Oh, you guys can't see it. Hold on one second. We'll stop here. We'll present. We'll say there. We'll go there. We'll go here. And okay.
Bueno, let's go for it.
The greatest of all toilets, right?
Sorry, got to go through these ads, but all right.
But expect a bit of a difference coming forward. Brian Smetzer told us having time to work on that, should expect some better results from that position. Your Ponce, of course, up top.
We know the lineups here, and I think we get right to we'll go.
Come up.
Oh, that's good positive play from John Bell.
Bell goes forward. Rising up. Christian rolled on. Ladero. Escobar up top.
Ooh.
Back over for Urso.
Oh, wow.
Junior Urso off the mark. The Nations League, that very disappointing, stunning loss to Panama. United States a couple of nights ago.
Yeah, and then this one we can start here. Rothrock's going to go there, and if we can take a look at the movement here, here's Jesus Ferreira, who's a player. I think he's just trying to find himself, but we'll roll on this.
Play Canada tomorrow. Rothrock. Jimmy Maurer springs into action.
I'm going to go back for a second. And Peter, does he need to, when he goes here, does he need to look for Rusnek there? I'll take one more
I think
spot.
he's trying to pull the ball back. I think he's trying to pull back farther. I just think that he's not, he doesn't get the ball back, cut back to where he wants. So it actually ends up being on target, which I'm assuming that's not his plan right there. He does have 3 runners. So even if it's just across the face of the goal in that gap between the goalkeeper and that defender just inside the edge of the 6.
Right.
Here. Yep, that ball that played in there that gives us a chance to at least attack it. But having said that, he did get it across, did create some havoc.
All right, let's take a look.
A couple of nights ago, they'll play Canada tomorrow.
But Peter, once he, shakes right with his shoulder and goes left, he's almost doesn't have much of a choice, because even if he goes here, you've got right there and right there.
Yeah, the defender closest to the goalie right there.
Here.
Yeah, I think ideally he needs to take one more dribble, because he's not deep enough to get this ball there, and play the ball in between that defender and the goalie.
Okay.
Straight across the face of the goal.
Oh, this will then create enough space to do the slide rule right there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That would be ideal. But,
Rothrock. Jimmy Maurer springs into action.
National team, but you could have got a first team start.
All right, here's a better look at it.
And this is.
But you've only got 1, 2, maybe there. How quickly, Peter, is that player supposed to, or one of these? And you're the expert and the coach on the pivot.
Probably the one that's actually farther back, because he wasn't involved in that. When that original switch went, and you see that the ball's going across there, you should start going.
All right.
And get yourself around the edge of the box. So while the whole time that long crossfield pass was going across, whoever that deepest player is should have been on the move to get up to the edge of the box in case the ball does come.
Okay, so here's the pass, as you're saying. I mean, the ball's in the air here.
Yep.
So here.
Yep. He should be on the move.
Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah, because that's just gaping.
Because he's waiting too much, waiting too long.
So he should attack that ball.
Yeah, no. I think waiting. He should be another 10 yards forward right now.
I'm sorry, you're talking about the player. So he should be probably where the referee is. I mean, square to the referee, sort of.
Yeah, there. Yep. Maybe even a little bit farther forward. That ball was in the air a long time. He had plenty of time to get going.
Right. So we see this.
I love what he does on the wing.
Yeah. In the end.
Escobar has to be alive for that.
Okay. And I think only one more, but they had all their chances at 39th, 30th minute, and we'll get deep into that part. But this is just kind of build up. This is where the stuff starts here.
Great touch.
All right. You've
Got to
done
hit
it.
the target. I mean, you've got all day. If you're not happy with the way the ball's rolling, you got time to control it. If you are happy, you've got to hit the target from there. You at least have to force the goalie to make a good save. That,
Yeah.
and that's just concentration, cleaning up your technique. But that you got to force at least a save from there.
Yeah, and he skies it. So going again. Because I mean, Rusnak makes such a fantastic play. Because to make something out of this is, I think he's just playing on a higher level. But fair enough.
Yeah, and you would expect better from there.
Yeah, we'll see it again. Because my thought is, this is, I don't know, Peter, for me, please elaborate on this. You got these two guys right here. What are we doing here?
He's okay. I think.
Okay.
Is this Rothrock farthest away? The minute that ball played, he should have been sprinting towards the back post.
You're saying, yeah, let's go here.
He should have been, the minute he saw that ball go over the top, and that's what I think we're talking about earlier. You have to go on faith sometimes. You can't wait to make sure it's going to be perfect. You better get going. And if it comes, you get a tap in. And in this case, it got pulled back, so it didn't matter. But if nothing else, if you're sprinting into that back post, maybe you're pulling those defenders even a little deeper. So João Paulo on top has even more time with that shot.
So you're saying if I make this run, somebody's got to come here?
Well, he should have been going. He should have been running towards the corner of the 6-yard box.
Right here, that run right
sprinting. There. The minute he saw that ball go over the top, you got to put your head down and say, "I'm going to get in," because if it comes across, who's going to score?
And that would pull one of these guys to at least some awareness to like, okay.
And if not, you're by yourself.
Right. Okay. Let's roll the tape.
Little touch from Rusnak. That was intentional. And João Paulo just.
Yeah, as the old thing says, you can't. He's leaning backwards, right, Coach?
Well, I don't know. No, it doesn't matter how you lean. You got to hit the middle of the ball. You hit the bottom. If you lean forward and hit the bottom of the ball, you're still kicking it over. So,
well, fair enough.
Middle of the ball.
Okay, yeah.
Middle of the foot, middle of the
ball. I guess that's pretty simple, isn't it? All right, here we go. And I thought this was a good, creation by Danny Levy, which is something that he's been missing. We'll go back a little bit and take us through this. I'm sorry, let me go back. I have the other one popped up, but I just don't know how to. So that's there.
And so this is good. This is good. It's direct. He's penetrating. This instead of oftentimes this next ball goes sideways or backwards, but here it goes forward. It takes those 3 players out of the game. The 3 closest orange to him. All of a sudden, the ball's behind them instead of in front of them, and it leads to a chance.
All right, we'll roll that. And you got to save out of it, right? I mean, you go in, but you force a save, I should say.
Yeah, I mean it's a decent shot on target. He's, he's 21 yards out. If the goalie has to dive and save it, you've at least made him work.
Okay. And then there's this one. Sorry.
And this, we should do more with this final shot. This ball needs to go back across to the far post.
Here?
No, so this is all fine, but when the final shot is taken, it's got to come back where the goalie came from, because he's scrambling to get it. That's fine. Now he's scrambling to get across.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You got to put it back where he's coming from.
Okay. And who's that conferring in the back? Do we have a name?
Yeah, Duncan is not happy right now. I don't know.
Okay, he wants to get in.
All 130 pounds of him. So
Wow.
but at
All
least
right.
he's not unhappy with me, so that's okay.
No doubt. So, to your point, the goalkeeper's coming this way. That shot should be going that way, correct?
Yep. He's got no chance if it goes back across his body because he's scrambling just to get across, and he makes a good save.
Right. There's the first, the second. Yeah. Okay, all right. Ah, and can you teach these things? I mean, here's a better look at it. Yeah, this is all white. And here's their
Yeah, that's a
other.
good look at it.
Here's another. It's a nice flick here.
Yeah, I mean, here you've got numbers in the box. He's Rusnak's a little slow on that shot. It takes a little too long to get it out of his feet. First touch is probably a little too big. I think he'd like to have that one again. That's when you almost take with the sole of your foot originally, so you can keep it close enough to just a little touch, and then he's picking his spot. Instead, it gets a little bit away from him, and then he has to try and smash it.
When you say the sole, you mean like you're almost putting the top of your foot down on the ball?
Put the bottom of your foot on top of the ball, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
To deaden.
And then just roll it slightly forward, so it's a quick touch and then a finish. As he controls it with the inside of his foot, and it gets a little bit away from him, and then it gives that player an opportunity to close him down.
Sorry, let me go.
Because he had room. He had lots of room.
He did. All right, we'll take a
And
look
he's
at
technically
it.
he's technically proficient enough that this is something he should do better with.
And that's a nice run. That's a.
Yep, and the runs in the box. We got numbers in the box.
Oh,
See,
he
that
does.
just gets away from him.
Yeah, he does kind of. Okay, all right. Let's see what else do we got here. I mean, I think that's it. They go into the. There's this one, but I don't remember this being anything of significance. Yeah, and then they roll into second half.
Yeah.
And that was really about it. I thought, Aston, we don't need to go back to it. The second half, Brian, they came out kind of in this attacking mode, which I thought was a really good strategy because take us through that the first half, or maybe don't, but the first half, you're almost scoring. And then the second half, what's your message in the locker room to continue to keep that up? And do you switch to an attacking mode to keep that? I mean, a pressing mode to keep the attacking mentality.
I think
Go ahead.
I think the first half they created decent chances, and especially late there. And I think you got to try and encourage that and keep that momentum up, and instill a little bit of confidence too. But it's always the first goal that's the hardest to get in a season, in a game, for an individual, for a team. It's no different than you playing basketball. Your first shot goes down, it makes it easier. And right now they're scuffling a little bit to try and figure out who's going to score those goals.
Okay, and I think there wasn't really much. Let me look at my script here if there's anything else. Yeah, I think we can go to the 85th minute. Anything you can do on this offsides, or that's just kind of.
Well, yeah, when the ball comes out, you better come out too.
Yep. So he's right there. You can see Christian's already running back. Go ahead.
I don't know who Rothrock's pointing at. Is he trying to say that one of our guys kept him on side? But the minute he's got to come back with these guys. I mean, he's just That's just a little bit lazy. Because he started, there was guys between him and the goal when that ball went out. And they came forward and he just stood.
And you see Christian already making that run. I mean, Christian
Yeah, I
gets
mean,
it.
he's not going to get there, but Rothrock, look, he's just walking. Oh, look, I can score.
Oh, great. No one's there. And I think, yeah, this one was nothing here. The last one, I'm just going to, we'll let it play. I'll go one more minute because I want to get to the Georgie because that's what Brian mentioned. At the 85th, I think this is the sequence coming down here. Well, he does have 3 players on him. Georgie does after this. The defense was solid, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
didn't give up many chances. See, I think right now Georgie should be in attack mode. He's 1v1. He's got to go right away. And okay, not bad. And again, we got to do better.
Right, but you'll take the triple stride, make a move, and then cross it over. You're okay with that?
Yeah, I mean he's 1-on-1. You want him to be direct. Go, don't wait. And here he forces a save. Could he have maybe played it across face goal? Maybe, but no one's really all by themselves. So, it's worth a chance.
All right, we'll see it again, and then we'll see the Rothrock.
See, no one's really open, so yeah, shoot the thing.
And then I think there's another sequence. It's not this one.
I think there is one where he gets held up with the ball when they do.
Yeah, and I think that's coming up. So you're right. I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, boom, and yeah, okay, fair enough. And it's set piece here. Aye.
Well, here's my pet peeve here. You look where the set piece is. The lines are on the field for a reason. The top of the arc is 10 yards from the penalty spot.
Okay.
So that wall should be the same distance from the penalty spot as the ball is from the top of the arc. It's maybe 8 yards. I don't understand why it's so hard for officials to get that right, because that makes a big difference on whether you can go up and over the wall or around, or you have to try and go around the wall. Because that's not nearly 10 yards.
So go ahead.
So, and it happens all the time. I don't know. It's almost as if refs think, well, I didn't really want to give a foul, so I'm not going to make the wall go all the way back.
So what do you? I'm sorry.
Well, see, the top of the arc there.
Yeah.
Is 10 yards from the penalty spot. And that ball is maybe a yard outside. And that wall is a good 3 yards in front of the penalty spot. So
Okay.
that's about 8 yards. And that's makes it much more difficult to get that ball up and down over the wall if they're only 8 yards away.
Joy.
Okay. So my question was this: so what do you tell your players? Hey, should he turn the referee and say, hey, it's not 10 yards, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I have this difficulty all the time. You tell them, look, that's a yard outside the arc. That's not a yard away from the penalty spot. Those are 10 yards. The lines that they paint on the field are much more accurate than your strides. Some refs will go, okay, you're right. And some are, only a step away from God. So they just tell you, no, I walked it off. Okay. It was 10. And some of them will even say silly things like that was 10 steps. It's not 10 steps. It's 10 yards.
Peter, didn't they used to have the little magic? I'm not didn't they used to have the little thing in the back where they did 10 yards and then they used to line.
Draw the line, yeah. But I don't. But you still got to get them back 10 yards. You say if they only walk off 8 yards, it doesn't matter if they stay behind the line. So it happens all the time, and I don't understand, especially when you're that close to the lines. It's really easy to see where that's the distance, and they should all know those markings by this point in their careers, both the players and the ref. So look, that's not right.
I never really thought. It never occurred, but that's why we have you here. That's great insight. All right, we'll roll it. D Money, we're gonna go a couple more minutes. I know you're up. We're up on a break here, but we're just about wrapping it up. That was a let off here. I thought that's great defense. Yeah, go ahead.
They recovered quickly, but yeah, they did. They kind of messed up the initial assignments, letting him get the ball there. But at least they closed down quickly.
This was the one. If I remember, it goes off the defender and he makes his hockey right leg save, correct?
Yeah.
This is there's another touch. And another. Jesus Ferreira seems to be, to me, when he's playing on the wing, he's more effective than up top. Fair?
I think he's, in a lot of ways, best served playing as what everyone goes with a false nine now, which is in the middle, but not pushed all the way up against the center backs. Kind of dropping off to receive the ball and be both a attacker and a playmaker.
Okay.
Unfortunately, right now, there's no one if he does that, there's no one to really run in behind. And it's also kind of the spot where Rusnak does his best work. So they almost kind of get in each other's way at times if he wants to do that. So he's trying to figure out where he can fit in as far as where can I find the ball, where can I get the ball in my best positions. And I don't think he's figured that out yet. And it's almost as if he just needs to go out and say, I'm just going to do what I've done all my life, and everyone will figure it out around me. Instead, I think he's trying to figure out exactly how he fits with everybody. And because of that, he's a little tentative because he's overthinking, and instead of just playing, he has to think, all right, wait a minute. Am I supposed to stay high where I don't want to just go play. Then you'll figure it out.
Okay,
again,
legend.
He needs a goal, and then things will get much easier. That's kind of the way it works up front.
Well, you of all people would know. All right, what do you got going on for the week?
Enjoying actually being able to walk outside without bundling up for a day or two. That'll be good. Also on the field coaching today and tomorrow and Thursday, and watching basketball come Thursday and Friday afternoons again.
No doubt. Lassie, you see that Juju Watkins went down last night? I don't know if you're big.
Yeah,
that's big loss.
It's tough. I mean, it's just too many of them. Too many ACL injuries. We need our creator didn't do a good enough job with that joint. There's far too many of these happening.
You're blaming him. Hey, maybe y'all shouldn't play so many games. I don't know. Between that and the hamstrings, you're absolutely right. You know what I mean? Like, it's always going down. So
at the speed I sprinted, the hamstrings weren't much of a problem.
No, that is such a lie. You are so humble. That is such a lie.
Guys,
all right.
You don't pull things running the speed I go.
Yeah, well, you don't score as many goals as you did, and one of the most prolific scorers in Washington State history, by just being a pedestrian striker, if you will, and winger, right? So, all right, man. Always appreciate you coming on. I get people telling us, say, hey, man, those segments are fantastic. Keep them coming. So, thank you very much, Peter. Enjoy the next couple days, the sun, the warmth, and then we'll circle back.
All right, always a pleasure.
Appreciate you. Thanks. All right, so there you go. And again, thank you all for saying Elijah Moyer is going to join us in the second half, but I know, hey, we better go on break before my man D Money starts sending. He's such a humble, speaking of nice guy, but we got to go on break. That's all I'm trying to say. So Seattle Sports Weekly, we'll be back. And again, Peter Hat Trip, we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rainier Avenue Radio.world, the station that cares about our community.
How is the air quality in your neighborhood? Do you feel comfortable breathing the outdoor air? We want to hear from you. The Puget Sound Clean Air Agency is hosting a community workshop in King County to shape the comprehensive climate action plan. And your input matters. Share your concerns, ideas, and lived experience with air pollution in your community. No expertise needed, just your voice. Register now at pscleanair.gov/CPRG. Participants may be eligible for reimbursement for their time. Be part of the solution. See you there.
Hey, Seattle, tune in to Lidline Sports every Monday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.
What up, yo? We are back. This is Pep and the man that don't take no mess, Mr. O-P-I-S, Mr. Stevenson. What say you?
I hope you see the hat that I'm wearing right now. That's how mad I am.
I do. Man, you are angry.
I just want to make that be known.
Tune in to Lidline Sports every Monday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Midline Sports.
Do you want to reach out to the Vietnamese community in Seattle? Just advertise in Le Viet Tây Bắc, that is Northwest Vietnamese News, the longest running Vietnamese language newspaper in our region. Go to nvnorthwest.com.
On Rainier Avenue Radio.world, look for the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show. I'm Dennis Weaver, your good food guide and host, helping you to feel good and look good, and who wouldn't want some of that? All that and more from the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Stories, songs, and get. Begin living the organic good food life, and the rest of your life just may be the best of your life. What's up, baby? To your help.
A new law is helping people save more money on prescription drug costs. You may also be able to save. With Medicare's Extra Help program, your premium cost can be zero and your out-of-pocket expenses are low. Who should apply? Single individuals earning less than $23,000 a year, or married couples earning less than $31,000 a year. Even if you don't think you qualify, you should still check out this program. Visit ssa.gov/extra help. Medicare costs are covered by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Would you like to see when your favorite Rainier Avenue Radio show comes on? Check out our show schedule, updated weekly at rainieravenueradio.world.
All right, we are back. Seattle Sports Weekly. I'm Osvita Mariera, and we are delighted to have Coach. And and I know I stopped midstream in the name. That's the whole idea. Here's someone who's been doing some stuff, right? What I mean stuff. What I mean by stuff is out in the community, making a difference in the lives of our youth here. A lot of people do that. But what he's doing is making a difference and using sports as a vehicle in youth development for youth in Zimbabwe. So, which I thought, you know what? I think that would be a really, really good, bring him on board and he can talk about, what he's doing, how he got started, and, how his tournament bracket is, and all of that stuff. But again, on a serious note, is somebody who's out making a difference across the globe. So, Mr. Elijah Moyo, how you doing?
What's up, Mojita? How you doing, brother?
Good, good, good. See, you said my name the right way. Last time I spent a whole 5 minutes, I was telling him, okay, look, this is the radio kind of how you say it, and I went with the
Right.
last name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Last
All right. Yeah, you
No,
got to make it.
That's perfect because I told him, and I said, if you line up 4 of our people, 6 of Anamaraire, all in a line, and you said, how do you say the last name? So they tell you get 6 different interpretations, but
I got it right, or at least I got the first part right. I'm not gonna try the other one.
Oh, stop! What's my brother? Thank you for coming on. Tell people about man, your journey. Let's just start with Zimbabwe,
All right.
And then
So thanks for having me on here. I really appreciate it. Opportunity to speak to people that follow you as somebody I admire as a mentor myself and try to walk in your footsteps. So a huge honor to be on here right now. But I guess to set context for what I do, obviously, I'm from Zimbabwe. I moved here many moons ago to play basketball after having earned a scholarship for basketball as well as academics here in the U.S. in Ohio. Fast forward 20 plus years later, I'm now here in Seattle, Washington, and I've had the opportunity to coach my sons in their basketball leagues through Seattle Parks and Rec over the years and the YMCA. And through all of that, I think I started to recognize some gaps here, but they seemed very similar to gaps I found back home whenever I went home, which is while there's lots of sports going on, there's a lot of kids that fall through the gaps. There's just kids who, sprout out early or don't have the resources or the parents are too busy to get them involved in things. So I started Bright Futures through sports here in Seattle, Washington as a nonprofit to kind of bridge that gap for opportunities for kids here. But I also quickly realized that even with the lack of access kids had here, they had more opportunities than some of the kids back home, who I was one of, obviously many years ago before Coach came and kind of identified me, right? So I took on a trip last year around this time in April. I went to South Africa, I went to Zambia, I went back home to Zimbabwe in different settings, so urban Zimbabwe as well as rural Zimbabwe. I visited Malawi, and in all these places, I was able to have basketball camps run and work with local coaches and local community leaders to kind of get the temperature, so to speak, as far as like kids' excitement with basketball. And huge success. I learned a lot, and quickly decided I needed to establish something on the African continent that could mirror or perhaps work in conjunction with what we're doing here in Seattle. So, for example, coming up this Saturday, we're going to try to do exactly that. We have a very exciting community event. It's a 3-on-3 basketball tournament we're holding here at Rainier Community Center in Seattle. And the purpose of that is through registrations, through donations, through sneaker drive that we're holding on the same day, that we can take some of the used resources or some of the extra funds that we have and channel them back home, specifically to a small primary school that I visited in rural Zimbabwe. Now, these kids were, even as I think about it, I get a little emotional. These kids played on dirt. Straight up dirt. Like there's no lines, there's no kind of official surface, and they played on makeshift hoops that were rusty and just not great to look at. But they played with so much passion and were so grateful that somebody had thought of them and thought to visit them and thought to bring them the few items of equipment that I had. I had 5 basketballs, which I left for them. Long story short, those 5 basketballs turned from about 13 kids that had showed up that day to play to like 80 plus kids who started playing about a month later. And quite clearly that, there's a need there to keep kids engaged from an athletic perspective, and also just find people who have talent and put them on the pathway to maximize their talent. So that's kind of what we're doing right now, long and short. We've now spread with partner programs further beyond Malawi and Zambia and Zimbabwe, like I mentioned, but we're now also in Ethiopia and Djibouti and doing the exact same thing, like finding kids that are not getting opportunities. And we've broadened our approach now to not just basketball. We looking at track and field, soccer, rugby, anything we can get our kids to get involved in and seek opportunity.
You said something, and you mentioned a little bit of it, but can you go back and tell the audience the difference between the rural and urban?
Okay, so yeah, a great question. So I think the best way I can put that is New York City is not, and this is not disrespectful to rural Louisiana, but New York City is not rural Louisiana, just in terms of resources and infrastructure and that type of thing. You find that in Africa, a rural school such as this one is probably severely, underfunded, probably very difficult to get to for most kids, and just suffers from some challenges, several challenges, versus most urban schools who are probably in the big city, mostly, the big cities in Zimbabwe, Harare, Bulawayo, Mutare. You find that schools that are closer to the city probably have more resources and more access to sports specifically.
Okay, and then can you tell us your website? D-Money will pop it up where we can get more information. I should ask you for the flyer, but what is that?
No worries. So we are at brightfuturesthroughsports.com.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
and
so then this Bright Futures through sports.com.
Yep.
And then tell us a little bit more about this event this Saturday.
Sure. So, like I said a little bit there, this event on Saturday will be a 3-on-3 tournament. We will start at 9 in the morning with younger kids, so anyone 16 and below that wants to play. No experience necessary. You don't even really have to have a team. We can always assign a team for you if you don't have one. And we'll go from 9 until 12 with the young kids. And then we'll take a break where we'll have some special Zimbabwean entertainment, a live band from Zimbabwe. You don't want to miss this. It's called a marimba. It's called Zamboko. It's a marimba band. Very, very fun to listen to and be a part of. And then after that break, we'll start with the adults and their tournament. And that goes from roughly about 1 and will be done by 5. Throughout the day, we've got face painting. We've got barbers giving free haircuts. We've got Papa Shot and different stations where you can learn things about this community I just spoke about Zimbabwe, about Africa in general, and just ways you can plug in and give some of the old equipment you have a second life, which, by the way, is very good for the environment.
You didn't mention no food. Y'all have some food over there?
Thank you. You know what? As a Zimbabwean man, as an African man, that is not a good thing to do. Food, lots of food. We're gonna have obviously just your traditional American food, hot dogs, all that kind of stuff for sale. But we actually have a lot of free African food. My mom, who makes a mean peanut butter rice, if you've never had it, you gotta come try it. We'll be making some of that. It'll be on deck. So we'll have food from Zimbabwe. We'll have food from Ethiopia. We'll have food from other African countries, just to have you try and have a taste of Africa.
All right, let me just see if I can pull this off. There we go. All right, let's see. There we go. That is your website, correct?
It is populating. Yes, indeed, that is. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, tell us a little bit more about what we're seeing here, if you will.
Sure. So this page you're particularly on right now speaks about the programs that we have mainly in Africa. So what we try to offer is the whole spectrum of competitive of sporting. The sporting spectrum, I should say. So we'll go from training, where we have weekly trainings at numerous locations. We partner with community leaders and coaches and get them trained on coaching so that they can run coaching training. They can run sessions in their neighborhoods and their communities. And then we also then feed those teams and those communities into a league where they can actually compete and have a sense of purpose with this training. And then obviously we will have, holiday camps and that layer of things. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, let me think. All right. So there's the site. Y'all can go there, and obviously they can donate.
Yep. I can send you the flyer too real quick for this weekend's event. So your viewers, let me do that right now.
And if you could say that, D Money will you send it, and we'll make sure people. Again, where is it at?
It is the Rainier Community Center here in Seattle.
Okay.
I'll pop the address in there too, actually, if that helps.
All right.
But definitely, please, if you're in town, come check it out. You don't really even have to play basketball. I think, like I said, it's a community event. We want you to be there and get that cultural immersion and use community centers for what they're for the community to come together.
All right. I was gonna bump you out but you know what? I'll have you stay for the next 6 minutes, and we'll take you through the finish line. So
Right.
there you go. And maybe I missed this, but why? What is the why in all of this? Yeah.
The why in all of this is I'm driven by what I hope to build for a future for my kids. And so the things that I do, how I behave, how I model, how I treat my community is not only teaching my children how to treat their community, how to be a part of their community, but it also feeds into their own futures and their lives and opportunities. So for me, being Zimbabwean and being American, I can't just serve one community. In Seattle, I'm not just a Seattleite. I'm also a child of Zimbabwe, and I will not forget those people, nor will I forget kids here. And so that's kind of my why, that community and those opportunities and using sport to get through to the kids.
Fantastic. I didn't get the flyer. That's all right.
Send out your WhatsApp.
Okay. All right. These and then are you just asking, are you doing a bracket in the NCAA?
I don't want to talk about my bracket. It blew up week one, and you know that. Just trying to rub it in.
No. We're all having a little bit of fun here. So,
yeah, I know. But I am watching that. It is an exciting time. Obviously, as a basketball fan, watching closely. I hope your bracket does not live very long, by the way. I don't want to listen to you bragging about it.
Okay.
Who do you have winning, if I may ask? Winning everything. Do you have anybody winning everything, if I may ask?
Who do I have winning it all? I have Duke. I mean, that's kind of, I went chalk on that. And at first I thought that I had, I was trying to be real smart and do the North Carolina and whatnot. But no, Duke, like everybody else in there. But those are all kind of the fun things. Did you see Juju Watkins went down?
Yes, that is very sad. I love watching that. I actually took my entire family when she was in town, when USC was in town playing UW. We went down to see, and my 4-year-old son is a big stan. Daddy, I want to be like Juju.
Yeah, it's I actually prefer the women's game, right? I mean, the college basketball, women's where it at with all the stars. Because even though I think Juju is the face of college, one of those.
I agree. I personally, I also feel like the women's game is a lot more I enjoy it a lot more. I think even from as a coach and as a developmental coach, I always prefer that my young athletes watch the women's game.
Okay, so there is bam. So there it is, correct?
All right, I think it's loading.
This is the event for
Yes
3-on-3. So there
Yes.
you go. And location Rainier Community Center. The time is from 8 to 6 this Saturday, and it kind of got your sponsors there. It goes a little bit in terms of why we do that, why you do that. So there you go. Okay. Got a few more. Let me stop the share here. What do you envision next in terms of? I know you've outlined some of the countries that you have connected with. What's the next goal?
So the next goal is in two parts. One is to continue to build the idea, especially in the African community, whether it's in Seattle or in Africa, to continue to educate parents specifically, but also educators on the benefits and the values of sports and what they can help parents and educators accomplish with their athletes and their children and their students, right? So I want to continue to build that machine, and how we do that is to continue to engage and keep that outreach, grow our footprint on the African continent. So specifically add in more sites, which for us is always fun, figuring out a new place where we can build a court, finding a person that loves whatever sport we can fit on there. Because usually when we donate a court, it's not just for basketball, right? You can draw on there with different colors, lines for netball, for volleyball, for all these other offerings. So it in turn kind of becomes a community center. So with that, continue to impact our continent of Africa, as well as kids here who don't have as much opportunity. So that's one thing that's next. The other thing is to continue to grow our sense of self-actualization in the sport of basketball on the continent. And by that, I mean, I want to continue to build these academies and have parents and kids understand that there is a path to making a living through sport on the continent. You don't necessarily have to leave, especially with basketball. You don't always have to leave and try to get a scholarship in America or try to get a scholarship. There's budding African professional leagues, but also the African universities also give scholarships for students. So I want to actually turn that into a very tangible and viable pathway for kids and parents starting from an early age.
All right. Thank you. Real quickly, we got to go, but breaking news, it looks like the Mariners signed Catcher Cal Raleigh to a massive extension, and 6-year, $105 million contract extension today, according to MLB sources. All right. He is Mr. Elijah Moyo, and as we talked about, it's the Bright Futures through sports.com. He's got a big event coming up this Saturday at Rainier Community Center. Get out there. You know, Seattle loves to help and community oriented. So let's do that. Thank you, Mr. Moyo, for coming on. Peter, that's it as always, breaking down the Sounders. Team Money, thank you for the streams. All right. And thank you all, because we can't have
Thank you very much, Mavita. Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Take care. All right. We're out of here. Thanks, Team Money.